Good evening and welcome to my bar. I'm not entirely sure I can keep up that terrible Transylvanian impression for the rest of the evening. You might have guessed by my introduction, and by the silly wizard's hat I've borrowed from another podcast I'm on, that today is Halloween, and we've got a special evening lined up for you. I've got two guests with me, Nick from the London Word and Abby from Who's for Dinner, who will be helping me critique some spooky cocktails. First up is the Pumpkin Old Fashioned. Take a cocktail shaker and fill it with ice. Add a single measure of whisky, half a measure of maple syrup, quarter of a measure of Grand Marnier or another orange liqueur, and about half a teaspoon of ginger puree. Then add 4 teaspoons of pureed pumpkin, and finally a dash of orange bitters. Shake that well until frost begins to form. Take an old-fashioned glass filled with ice and then pour it over, finally garnishing with a slice of orange. So, a smoked pumpkin old-fashioned. What do I think of it? Really does remind me of the bonfire. It's smoky, and the maple syrup along with the Grand Marnier adds sweetness, but it's not too overpowering. And so, Abby, your thoughts?
It tastes like autumn, like a bonfire, really smoky, rich, not too sweet. I thought it'd be much sweeter because of the pumpkin, but it was just the right amount of sweetness. Thumbs up for me.
I very much liked it, so very well rounded, and the smokiness of the whiskey really comes through and makes it, gives it a very good character.
And now for our second cocktail, the Pumpkin Hot Toddy. First, start your kettle boiling. Pour a quarter measure of maple syrup, lemon juice and whiskey into a mug. Add half a measure of cognac, a teaspoon of pumpkin puree, and 2 dashes of angostura bitters. Add boiling water and then stir to combine. Finally, top with a dash of cinnamon, and unlike our other cocktails, enjoy hot. Smooth, but without that kick you might expect. What are your thoughts on it, Abby?
I agree with you, it's smooth, but it doesn't have that punch or that heat or that warmth that I expect from a hot toddy. I don't find my insides glowing.
And how about you, Nick?
It's an interesting take on the hot toddy. It's very well rounded, and there's lots of interesting sort of flavours to it, and it goes down very well.
And finally, our spiced pumpkin punch. The recipe I'm giving here will serve a large number. Take a large bowl and add an entire bottle of spiced rum. Then add 1 cup of orange juice, 1 cup of lemon juice, 1 cup of spiced demerera sugar, half a cup of pureed pumpkin. Mix together and then add 2.5 cups of soda. Pumpkin punch made with spiced rum. Nick, what do you think of that?
I thought this was the weakest of the three, because it didn't make use of the pumpkin as the other two did. There's a bit too much of the orange juice and not enough of the rum.
Well, for me, I don't like it. No, but seriously, as a punch, it didn't have a punch. Like, I expected more of the rum to kick in and give me what for, but it just didn't. It just tasted like a pumpkin-y, orangey sort of orangeade. Not my favourite, no.
I think possibly we overdid it on the soda. Definitely not quite as alcoholic as one would have expected. Oh well, we can always fix that next time. I'd like to thank my guests, Abby and Nick, for enjoying these cocktails along with me, and for providing their opinions. You can find Nick at thelondonword.com and Abby at who'sfordinner.co.uk. And until next time, remember, always drink responsibly. Dr. Wilco's campaign for better beverages is a production of Tinker Tailor Soldier Sponge Productions. It was researched, written and produced by Dr. Wilco. The cocktail was mixed and drunk by Dr. Wilco, with assistance from Beth, Abby and Nick. The music was by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. You can support this podcast on Patreon via the show notes and the website drwilco.org/Patreon. 1 cocktail. 2 cocktails. 3 cocktails. Floor.